Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. It's me again, Celine. So, sana hindi po kayo magsawa sa akin. We will be together for 21 meetings, and today I was given a task to introduce to you the divine principle. I know it's not new to you. Nandito yung pressure sa akin na baka ano eh, kasi hindi bago sa inyo. So, baka may mga preferences na kayo, yung mga tsaka I know that some of you also nagla-lecture na din talaga. So hopefully I could be used by God. I'll be an effective mouthpiece of God para at the same time ma-inspire or may ma-learn kayo something from the lecture today. So please bear with me if I may have some, shortcomings, but I will do my best to share God's heart to you. So today we will be having the introduction of the divine principle based on the diagram lecture manual for 3 hour lectures. So we will begin. I think this is so familiar to you. We live in this world with more than 7.8 other people, right? And then all of us are busy spending some time doing something. But there is one thing in common sa lahat sa atin, may isang common. And that is that we are all struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. I think hindi 'to bago sa inyo. Ito yung pinaka-famous line sa Divine Principle, yung, everyone is struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. So, from the major events that shape history to even the smallest details of our everyday life, we can see and reflect na these things happen because of our pursuit to a happier life. Tama ba? So, now may I ask, meron ba dito sa atin ngayon na makakapagsabi na they are now in a state of being completely and genuinely happy? Meron ba sa atin? Yung meron, please raise your hand kung yung masayang-masaya na sila sa buhay nila, kontento na sila sa life nila. So, kung meron man, good for you. Pero I think, but in most cases, we are all in the same situation. Every day, we fight our own battles, struggling to survive and be happy. Tama ba? So that is why we need to find the path towards happiness. So the question is how? Do you know? Alam niyo ba? Alam niyo, alam ko. So, if I will cite instances that I can say na masaya ako, I think, for example, how some situations that I can say na masaya ako is say, if I accomplished something, I feel happy when I accomplished something. If I receive a compliment or a reward, 'di ba? Or even kapag nakakain ko yung mga gusto kong kainin, magiging masaya na ako. So, these are little things, but these things made me happy because I satisfy my desires. Tama? Therefore, we can conclude na when we fulfill our desires, we experience happiness. So, we are taught in the tama ba? We are taught in the in the unification principle that we have two opposing kind of desires. We have good desires and evil desires. As we can see and read here, within the self same individual are two opposing inclinations. The original mind that desires goodness and the evil mind that desires wickedness. They are engaged in a fierce battle, striving to accomplish two conflicting purposes. Any being possessing such a contradiction within itself is doomed to perish. So, from this, we can say that in order for us to be happy, to have happiness, we need to resolve the contradiction within ourselves and be able to follow our original mind that pursues goodness. So, how are we going to realize it? For us to do that, we are required to have the wisdom that clearly distinguishes what is good from what is evil. The divine principle uh, provides us that wisdom. That means It is a guide towards happiness that can fulfill our good desires. So whenever something is in whenever something exists that is in contradictory to its own nature, it will inevitably self-destruct. So Christianity sees this state of destruction as the result of the human fall. When we look to him, when we look from the intellectual standpoint, it means we fell into ignorance. So let's talk about ignorance. Considered from the viewpoint of the intellect, the human fall represents human descent into ignorance. People are composed of two aspects: the internal, or the internal and external, or the mind and body. So in the same way, there are two types of ignorance: internal ignorance and external ignorance. So sino ba sa atin yung sino ang may alam sa atin ng ano kung ano yung internal ignorance? Do you know? Brothers and sisters? May makakapagsabi ba? Maraming lecturers dito eh. Alam ko. So, to ano, to give you kung ano yung internal ignorance, I think you all already know. You already know, but internal ignorance is spiritual ignorance. These are parang yun yung mga tanong natin about, say, where did we come from? What is the value of life? What is the goal of life? Or what happens after we die? Ito yung internal ignorance. More like sa existence natin. Ano, bakit, ganyan, yung mga ganon. And then external ignorance on the other side means ignorance about the natural world, including our physical body. So, yung about fundamentals of the material world and the laws of nature. So, over the long course of history, human beings have ceaselessly seeking the truth of transition, to transition from being ignorant to having knowledge. So, yan. Humanity through religion has followed the path of searching for internal truths, and through science has followed the path of seeking external truths. Now, however, religion and science, each in their own spheres, have been the methods of searching for truth in order to conquer ignorance and attain knowledge. Kaso nga lang, ang nangyari, these two aspects, these two, what do you call this? Sangay, branches, ba yan? They have to work together. But unfortunately, as we can see, sa mundo natin ngayon, it did not work that way. So, let me read this one, and then I will give you an insight of isa sa mga nabasa ko sa book ni Mother about religions and science. So, religion and science, setting out with the missions of dispelling the two aspects of human ignorance, have seemed in the course of their development to take positions that were contradictory and irreconcilable. So, yeah. However, for humankind to completely overcome the two aspects of ignorance and fully realize the goodness which the original mind desires, at some point of history there must emerge a new truth which can reconcile religion and science and resolve their problems in an integrated undertaking. So, hindi ko pala ito na ano, iba pala itong ano ko ngayon. Wait. Actually, meron akong sorry. Iba tong PowerPoint pala na ano ko, na napakita. So, according dito sa book ni True Mother, because we are fortunate kasi meron na kaming book ni True Mother. This is one of the things na, nung nabasa ko to, ito yung na parang na-remind ako sa responsibility ng science and religion. So, this is from the book of, this one, Mother of Peace. Yes, Mother of Peace book, chapter 5, The Emblem of the Kingdom of Heaven, page 183. Sabi niya dito, once in a while, you hear religious people devalue science as having nothing to do with God, and secular people devalue religion as having no practical use. Both sides separate God and science. Both are in error. So see, parang feeling ko, this one is supporting na supporting supporting statement siya na the science and religion has failed to do its part na to lead us in a tawag dito, to lead us in a world, in a much better world where religion and science are working together harmoniously. So, tama na ba ako dito? Religion and science. Tapos na ako dito, right? So, how for humankind to completely overcome the two aspects of ignorance and fully realize the goodness which the original mind desires, at some point in history, there must emerge a new truth which can reconcile religion and science and resolve their problems in an integrated undertaking. Um, so what are the missions of the new truth that must be fulfilled? According dito, there should be a new truth na yun siya ang magiging way para magtagpo ang science and religion. Because our existence is not solely for internal purpose lang. It has to be internal and external because human beings are internal and external naturally. So it has to go along. Yan, they have to work together. So what are the missions of the new truth? So the new expressions of truth should be able to reveal the reality and heart of God. His heart of joy at the time of creation and his heart of striving to save humankind throughout the long course of history. I think ito sa buong introduction, ito yung parang isa sa mga favorite parts ko personally because religion has taught us na parang kasing as I observe the world, religion has taught us that God is God is a God of glory. But unfortunately, we have failed to see and understand that God is also a sorrowful God. So this new truth would reveal the reality and heart of God. According again sa book ni True Mother, chapter 9, God's Kingdom in Our Midst, page 265. According doon, religion must first teach the truth about God. I do not mean simply that God exists. I mean teaching about our relationship with God. True religion teaches the nature of God, the reality of God's love, and how to live in that love. I think it is really very, pag nabasa nyo yun, I think kahit nga pakinggan nyo lang yun, it's actually really inspiring na parang, we have been so ignorant all these years na we keep on praising God, and especially this time that our Dr. Young is emphasizing about the heart of God. So, yun yung I think it is now a time na for us to really realize and reflect na how is our relationship with our heavenly parent, with God. Ano ba yung personal relationship ko with God? So with this new truth, it will give us the way to realizing and to really reflecting of how is ano ba dapat yung gawin natin para ma-develop yung personal relationship natin with God through the new truth, okay? And then, sabi, ito pala yun. Ito pala yun. Yun yung sinasabi ko. Mother of Peace, chapter 9, God's Kingdom in Our Midst. So, actually, this one's really nice. Sa mga naging, nung nabasa ko siya, nabasa ko before ako mag-lecture. So, so baka God na din yun. It's God, kailangan ko siyang i-share sa inyo. So, next one is, this truth must be able to embrace all historical religions, ideologies, and philosophies, and bring complete unity among them. So, I think we are all aware how na maraming barriers, maraming hindrances, maraming mga yung nagde-divide sa humanity ngayon. Ito yung situation natin sa kasalukuyan na hindi talaga natin maitatanggi because it is evident, especially this time, na we are all in a crisis. So, even kahit nga sa mga balita, makikita natin how humanity is divided because of this mga sectors, religion, ideologies, philosophies. Yeah. So this new truth will be able to help us and embrace all these things that divides humanity. Unity starts with the unity of mind and body and the unity of husband and wife. So the new truth will um, explain more how important the unity of our minds and body. Kasi 'di ba kanina we have mentioned na tayo sarili natin, we are already in a parang we are in a fierce battle always. We na meron tayong self-contradictions sa sarili natin. That's why may contradiction tayo sa sarili natin. So, the new truth will help us to unite our minds and bodies. It will emphasize how important it is to unite our minds and body. And at the same time, because this new truth is not just about the self, but the whole. So, at bilang bilang family ang isa sa ang basic unit ng society, then it will aside from ourselves na sa sarili natin nagsisimula ang change, but definitely ang purpose naman ng life natin, which will be discussed furthermore sa next chapters, is to multiply, like what Ate Dulce have said. We have to multiply. So it will also emphasize the unity of husband and wife. So ito pangatlong mission ng truth. And then lastly, is it lastly? So, the new truth should guide fallen people to return to their original state. Bakit ba? Nawala ba tayo sa original state? 'Di ba kanina, while if I'm not so sure. I think maybe siguro naging hindi ako klaro, pero the contradiction within ourselves was caused by the fall. Like what I have mentioned kanina. Maybe it wasn't clear, pero yun yung gusto kong ipaliwanag sa inyo na the contradiction within ourselves, the conflict that we are facing every day within ourselves is because of the fall. So, therefore, hindi yun yung original nature natin. Hindi talaga nature ng tao na magkaroon ng magkaroon ng evil mind. It has to be like one, original mind. So, this new truth should guide fallen people to return to their original state. So, it will help us fallen human beings to return to our original state. The new truth yan. So, this ultimate truth, ultimate life-giving truth, however, cannot be discovered through an exhaustive investigation of scriptures or scholarly texts, nor can it be invented by any human intellect. Siguro, kung if ang new truth na to could be discovered by research, di sana matagal na tayong prosperous, di ba? Kasi humanity has been continuously doing their best to kasi until now may mga tanong pa rin tayo na hindi nasasagot. Even sa existence natin. Marami, lalo na sa secular, sa outside world, there are still a lot of questions na still hindi pa rin nasasagot. That's why if ang new truth can be discovered through exhaustive investigation of scriptures to scholarly texts, then sana we are in a different time now. I think we should be in a time where in a time where we can confidently say now we are all happy, that we are really one with God, and that we are really one with God. So therefore, hindi siya this truth is not just hindi siya madidiscover sa exhaustive investigation of scriptures or scholarly texts, nor can be invented by any human intellect. And as it is written in the book of Revelation, you must again prophesy about many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. Revelation 10 verse 11. Truth must appear as a revelation from God. So therefore, hindi lang tayo talaga makakapag-rely. Ito isa sa mga na-realize ko na we cannot just rely on our capacity as human beings. It had God should be like the one talaga na mag-give us ng uh, tawag dito, complete dominion sa sarili natin. That's why this truth is not just, hindi siya ganun kadaling hanapin. Kasi it has to be revealed by God Himself. So, God has sent one person to this earth to resolve the fundamental problems of human life and the universe. His name is Reverend Sun Myung Moon. So, yes, Reverend Sun Myung Moon has dedicated his entire life for the liberation and for the liberation of God and salvation of humankind. Kung siguro, um, since hindi naman bago sa inyo si Reverend Sun Myung Moon, si Father Moon, um, pero ano kasi, makikita naman natin how he invested his whole life to really materialize, to substantialize the um, the to ano ba, para maging better world ang mundo, kumbaga. So Reverend Moon taught us through the divine principle that the path toward through the divine principle the path towards happiness. So actually itong divine principle, if we will kung iintindihin lang natin talaga, it will at saka kung i-practice talaga natin ang divine principle, there will be no conflict. There will be hindi, pero of course, maintindihan din natin na hindi madali i-materialize ang ideals ni God. But through this divine principle, at least we are given a chance to remove the ignorant state natin ba to who we really are. So I would like to end this presentation through this tawag dito, through this I would like to cite this from the book of True Mother, chapter 9, God's Kingdom in Our Midst, page 280. So, if you reflect on God's heart, you will recognize the hardships and suffering that you may be going through are nothing compared to His. We have to repent before God. You did not bring yourself into the world. Your life is a gift from God. His will for us is that we make our lives beautiful and worthwhile. When we believe in our hearts that we are here for our children and family, for our spouse, as well as for all humanity and for the entire world, we will find happiness. So, maganda siya, tama? Tama, maganda siya na na actually dito marirealize mo that our life is not just about ourselves. We have to really live our lives for the sake of the next generation. This is not just about us. So through this divine principle, we hope that we could be able to uncover more the heart of Heavenly Parent, and at the same time make you understand His will for each one of us. Na ano ba yung dapat talaga natin gawin, lalong-lalo na as we prepare ourselves for the matching and the blessing. So it's important na at this 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 divine principle lecture series, I think it will be more on we will try our best na you will relate to it, and then na mismo kayo sa sarili ninyo, marirealize nyo na, and you will make your own determination na you yourself is, you yourself, we are all responsible to really liberating God's heart. Yun yung pinaka-importante. And only if we will also materialize and embody the principle of living for the sake of others, then we can truly be happy. Because after all, doon naman tayo nagsimula, di ba? We all want to be happy, tama ba? Doon tayo nagsimula. Everyone's struggling to attain happiness. Now, this is it is ito yung formula para ma-attain talaga natin ang happiness. So, I think, ba? Dito lang po ako matatapos. And I hope na I'm so sorry, but I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Celine. So let's give a hand to Miss Celine. That was